Hey everyone, welcome to the Fat Loss Basics and Hacks, our first webinar of the series. I'm very excited this year. I'm committed to do more online classes, and I'm gonna share with you guys many of my topics. Oops, sorry, my lights just have a lit. Yep, many of my topics of expertise, but topics that are relevant to health, and I'm gonna bring to you guys everything I know about those topics and of course nutrition. So the first one, fat loss basics and hacks, is the most perhaps popular one because people trying to lose weight all the time. They want to lose body fat, of course, but more importantly, this time ever, I think because of COVID, people are working from home, but also it was the end of the year. People are trying to catch up from those extra weight that they put it on during Christmas time. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a good understanding first what are the basics and how we're going to actually lose weight. So the first question is how to lose body weight and body fat. So there's two very simple ways that you can do it. First, it is you increase your activity. So for example, you are exercising 2-3 hours a day, you are on a labor intense job, therefore you lost a lot of weight because of your energy expenditure. Let's say you start a new job and it's a physical intense job and you also are exercising 1-2 hours a day. Consequently, you lose body weight, you lose body fat because you're increasing your demand of calorie. The second scenario, it is a nutritional based weight loss where you compromise your calories and therefore you're eating less and you're eating less calories, so your body has less energy and has to to activate your own body fat to keep up with your energy. So there's two scenarios. Now, what is the ideal scenario? The ideal scenario is where you exercise daily, you eat properly, and you achieve a weight loss and a fat loss that is healthy. Okay, that is it's not as intense on the body, but more importantly, is holistic. So exercise is very important. Okay, it's very, very significant to our overall health. So that's why I don't agree with just what a diet plan. I think diet has always to come with some healthy lifestyle, because by changing your lifestyle, increasing your exercise, you're going to provide your body all the tools, all the resources to lose weight healthily. And there's a good question out there, right? Which is, the healthiest people are the ones that understand nutrition, but also they do actively every single day, because the fittest person in the room is not necessarily the healthiest. I've seen that all the time. I've seen that with athletes that exercise like, extreme amounts, and they don't necessarily eat healthy because they are very fit, they train a lot, and they know that they can eat, bad food. So fitness has nothing to do with health or being the healthiest. Of course, has to do with health, sorry. Now, what is the healthiest way to lose weight? So for me, it's all about lifestyle. It's about to improve your daily routine, your habits. First, you have to understand what is your triggers. What are the foods that you normally eat that's actually making you put on weight? So it could be your snacks, could be your late night snacks, could be too many coffees, it could be alcohol. So the first step towards health and towards weight loss is to understand what is the habits that are making me put on weight. First of all, it could be many, it could be one, but you're doing too many times. Yeah. Now, the main sources of energy is, okay, very simple there. I'm going to share with you guys. First is the carbohydrate. Carbohydrate provides 4 calories per unit. Protein provides 4. Okay, so the same amount of calories. Now, fats provide double the amount of calories, 9. And that's why fat can be quite, tricky, because if you don't control the amount of fat you consume, you could be break evening, like you could be kind of bringing too much calories to your diet because you're eating too much healthy fats. So it's also very important to control that. And alcohol, it is one of the calories that most people don't even consider, because first, it is recreational. Some people, drink on a weekend, and they might drink 1-2 glasses at night. They don't consider that as a calorie, but at the end of the day, at the end of the week and the month, that has a huge impact on their weight, because alcohol is also a source of calorie. So we also have to consider that alcohol plays a big role in weight loss and fat loss. Okay, that's why I put it out there. It's not a nutrient, but it's a calorie. Now, back to basics. Okay, let's first understand this, and it's very simple. The quality of your diet has a lot to do with your outcome, your results. So the first question you have to ask yourself is this: is the quality of my food good? The second, it is the quantity. Am I eating too much? Because it could be great quality, but you're eating too much. I've seen that sometimes. People say, I'm eating really healthy. I eat a lot of veggies. I eat a lot of, whole foods, grains, and I eat a lot of, a good fat, but they might be overdoing. They might be eating, at the wrong time. And time is very important. And that's why is the third question to ask is my time okay? Am I eating on the right times? Am I eating, based on my lifestyle? Let's say you are waking up 4 a.m., exercising 5 a.m., and you're going to bed 6 p.m. So your food has to be timed with your exercise, but also your bedtime. Okay, I'll explain a little bit more in a few minutes for you. So the quality of your diet, it's very important, and your carbohydrate, your protein and fats have to be, of good quality. For example, your refined carbs, okay, are, sorry, I'm got someone trying to log in here, and they are struggling to, hang on just a second. I'm just gonna send someone a link. Someone is trying to get in on the webinar, and they can't get in. Sorry guys, I apologize, just because someone is saying that they are trying to log in and they're not having. Yeah, we are on. Okay, now the quality of your carbohydrate is very important, and the fats as well, the protein. So the questions you have to ask yourself, it is this, guys. Am I eating carbohydrates that are, am I eating carbohydrates that are refined? Am I eating carbohydrates that are whole grain? So you have to ask these questions all the time. Am I eating sugars? And therefore, is that a good sugar, like from honey, from maple syrup, or is that bad sugars? Am I eating too much processed meat, like salamis, or like sausages and like chicken strips? Those things are very important to ask, because quality matters. Remember, quality, quantity, and timing. And then we also have to ask the fat content. Is my fats coming from good sources or bad sources? So that's one thing that I tell people. When you come down to nutrition, the quality always going to be the most fundamental part of your diet. If you don't ask those questions, then you might achieve the result, but you're not going to achieve a healthy fat loss or a weight loss. Okay. The next one is, carbohydrate. And why carbohydrate is very fundamental for our weight loss? Because Carbohydrate is an excellent source of energy. Okay, so it's imperative for our brain function. It's is the food for our brain to function at optimum I would say levels. It helps us to memorize, it helps us to absorb data, to record, to memorize. Without carbohydrates, it's very hard for us to think. So if you do have a diet that is too little in carbohydrates, you're going to find that your diet it's perhaps not properly for you, for your lifestyle. You might be compromising on your mental performance and capacity. And that's something that I see often. People do a very low carbohydrate diet and they lose too many benefits, or like they're not thinking properly. They might feeling foggy, they might feeling sluggish. So carbohydrate is important. Too much carbs, not ideal. That's going to make you retain weight. That's going to slow down your progress. Too little, not ideal either. Okay. Protein. So protein are the building blocks, what we call the building blocks of life. It's very critical for all the body functions, okay? We are pretty much made out of protein. We use protein from head to toe. And if you don't consume properly adequate amount, what's going to happen is your immune system might be compromised. You might have, a decrease in mental capacity. You might have a decrease in energy. Your reproductive system might be compromised. Muscle depends on protein to build up, but also to regenerate. So basically, all the systems in our body, the 7 systems, require protein every single day. Do we need animal protein? No. Can we have vegetarian sources? Absolutely. Can we have, just food as opposed to supplement to supply our protein sources? Yes, you don't need protein powders. I think protein powders are, one of those things that is heavily marketed. It is promoted very assertively, but it's not necessarily the best at all the times. People can overdo. And sometimes protein powder have a lot of, nasties and chemicals and other things. So be careful with excess of protein. We just want adequate amount of protein. Now, let me just, go to the next one. Fats. Okay, so the fats are a tricky one, guys, because if you think about fats, there is good fats, there's bad fats, there are man-made fats. So let's start with the man-made fat, because that's the worst type of fat, which is trans fat. Trans fat is the type of fat that it's considerably the worst for your cardiovascular system. It can clog up your arteries. It can impact on your hormone levels, and therefore it is the fat that you do have to make an effort to not put in your body. Of course, if you go out, if you go for a fast food every now and then, you're gonna end up getting it, but it's not the type of fat you want to add to your foods. You don't want to cook with it, and you don't want to add to your diet, because if your diet's already restricted in calories, you don't want trans fat. How about saturated? Saturated it's kind of okay. You don't need to have saturated fats all the time, but saturated fat is considered okay for consumption in moderation. I'm going to show you what is a saturated fat. And polyunsaturated and monounsaturated is what we call good fats. So here we go. That is an example of trans fats, which is fast foods. Okay, they are in margarine, and then all the processed carbohydrates that we call. Then we have saturated fats. Saturated fats is the one that we have to control. Even though they are natural, they still can be detrimental in excess, especially for the cardiovascular system. And also, we know that excess saturated fat can impact on your hormone levels, which then can lead to weight gain. So saturated has to be controlled. You can't just go through range on them. You can't just eat too many eggs and cheese and meat, because meat has excess of saturated fat by nature because it comes from animals. And then you have good fats, which is olives, olive oil, avocado, seeds, nuts, and therefore they're good for you. You do have to, control them. You can't just go free range on the amount, but you do have to understand that they are necessary for your cardiovascular health. They are important for your endocrine system. And eating too much little fat, it's also not recommended. That can impact on your overall health. Okay, calories. Don't drink your calories, okay? I think it's very important to understand this. Calories are much easier to consume in a liquid form than in a solid form, okay? That's why most people put on weight, because they don't understand that by drinking one coffee a day, like a mocha, 400 calories, or if they drink a soda, a pop, they add in 200 calories. The more they do those things, the lower their chances to lose weight, and the trickier it gets, because liquid calories is one of the things that your body get used to. And so if you get used to drink that coffee, that tea, like iced tea, if you drink beer or any sort of liquid calorie, what you might encounter is a very hard way to lose weight, because you might be trapped. You might be eating healthy, but you've been consuming too much, liquid, and those liquids have sugar, they might have alcohol, they might have both, and that could be the reason why you're not losing weight. So what I will encourage you to do, if you are the type of person that drink coffees every day, if you drink the sodas, if you drink teas, mind your portion, okay? Maybe exchange your coffee that have sugar or cream or even a full cream milk for something that has less calorie, maybe a black coffee or a coffee with a splash of milk or a skim milk, and that's probably going to be better for you. Okay. Hang on a second. Hi, Lana. Hello. Hi, Lana. Sorry about your link there.
That's okay.
So what I will do for you, Lana, we are already like 10 minutes in. So after that, I can show you the first slides and we can catch up on it. Is that okay?
Sure. Oh, thank you.
That's okay. So here we go. Guys, we're talking about liquid calories, and that's a tricky one. So mind you, the portions of liquid calories that you drink. Count how many calories you drink from alcohol, because that matters. Count how many coffees you have. If that coffee has sugar, full cream milk, make sure that you either reduce your quantity or exchange for something less caloric. But you do have to consider your beverages, okay? That makes a huge difference on weight loss, and also how you move forward, how you maintain your weight. Now, let's go to how much should I eat to lose weight? That's a very individual question. In 15 years as a nutritionist, there's not a number that fits all sizes. I think it's one of those questions that we have to ask, based on lifestyle, based on body types, based on age, based on activity levels. But as a general rule, for those people that are, let's say, trying to lose weight, there is a common sense between, Lana, if you want to just mute your phone, your camera for me, I can do that for you. Yeah, I'll do that for you. So if you want to lose weight and you are a female, I would say between 1,400 calories to 1,800 calories is ideal. If you're a desktop of person that work in the office, I would say go to the lower range, to the 1,400 calories. If you are a more physical type of person, let's say you work on a field, or you are, let's say, a factory worker, or you are on the road and you have to work physically, then up your calories to 1,800. You can always find a median between them, maybe 1600, which is ideal for most females that I work with. And that will allow you to lose weight safely, but more importantly, with health and energy. We don't want you to lose rapidly. We don't want you to lose health along the way, trying to achieve a weight loss, because that defeats the purpose of, you know, doing the whole thing. You want to lose weight, you want to lose healthy. And more importantly, you want to maintain that weight after you lose it. So that's why I don't recommend go under 1400 calories, because under that, what you're going to find is you might starve yourself. You might feel that it's too low calories. And then once you start putting that calorie back, you might, you know, put the weight back on. So even if it takes a whole 6 months or a whole year to lose the weight you need, it's better for you to lose on a safely manner than, you know, have a massive drop in calories. And then once you start go back to your old lifestyle, you're going to put all back on. For males, I would say 1600 calories to 2000 calories is okay. Don't go past than 2000. I don't think for a male to, you know, 2500, it's going to do any benefit unless that male is a very active man. But for most guys that I work with at 2000 calories, even for the big ones, will do the job. They will lose weight in a safely way, and they will at least eat a decent amount of food. The goal, like I was telling you guys at the first few slides, the goal it is to increase the amount of activity you do as the same time as you do a nutrition plan. So if you're going to eat healthy, exercise at the same time. Don't need to do every single day, but if you can do 30 minutes a day, some sort of activity, okay? And I tell people, you don't need to go and exercise at the gym. You can just go for a walk in the park. You can, you know, do some body workouts at home, like body weight workouts. You can do yoga, you can do Pilates. There's so many activities you can do, and 30 minutes is probably the minimal amount. You can do 2 splits of 15 minutes. You can do 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon, and that's fine, as long as you do some sort of activity that's going to promote your muscles to move, especially if you're a type of person that works in a desk job like myself. Okay, sometimes I'm 6-8 hours in the office, and I do have to move to make up for my steps, to make up for my amount of, you know, calories that I should be burning in a daily basis to lose the weight or maintain my weight. So those questions are important. But I would say for most females, 1400 calories. And I'll give you guys a bit more of insight to the portion size and things on the next slide. So when should I eat and when should I not eat? The first question you have to ask is, when do I go to bed? When do I wake up? Because that will dictate how much or when do you eat. For example, when you wake up, you don't necessarily need to eat. You can extend your fast. Like, I'm a big advocate of fasting, and I will show you guys that's the hacks. Okay, we're talking about basics. We're going to talk also about the hacks, and fasting is a very good hack. So if you wake up and you're trying to extend your fast until about lunchtime, that's going to give you about 16 hours of fasting. When you break your fast, okay, that's very important to start counting how many hours after that fast, because, for example, if you broke the fast at 12 o'clock, you should do a range of between 6 to 8 hours of window of eating, so you can actually nurture your body while you're doing that fast. Now, your last meal of the night is also very important. Never too late. And I would say, hang on a second. There is someone just jump in.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Filia. I'm gonna mute the phone, okay? Daddy gonna have to mute the phone, Mama's phone. Okay. So here we go. Before bed, it's very important, you guys, to have 3 to 4 hours break before going to bed. And that's to allow your digestive system to optimize the digestion. So when you go to bed, your stomach is flat, your stomach has digested the food, you don't have any sort of food left over there. And the cool thing is, when you have, eaten an early dinner and you go to bed at almost empty stomach, and that's the cool thing about it, you burn more body fat as you sleep. So there's a lot of actually benefit in going to bed slightly, not hungry, but slightly empty stomach, because that helps your body to burn fat overnight. And that's what I tell people. The trickiest part at night is most people tend to snack. Most people tend to watch their movie or series, and that's when they feel hungry because the adrenaline start to come down. Let's say they have a very stressful lifestyle or a stressful life. When they start to come down with that adrenaline, their hunger increase, and that's when they start to have snacks and things. So at nighttime, if you're trying to lose weight, it's very important for you to moderate your intake of food. It's very important for you to slow down how much you eat. So if you're going to break your fast at 12, your last meal of the day should be no past than 8 p.m. Because if 8 p.m. is going to be your last meal, oops, hang on a second. Sorry. It's just, yeah. If your last meal of the day is going to be 8 p.m., then you fast again until the next day around 10 a.m. or 12. Avoid eating huge amounts, okay, especially at night. If you are a person that works during the day, if your activity or your exercises during the day, your biggest meal should be breakfast and lunch, and your dinner should be a little bit less. That will allow your body to burn a little bit more fat at nighttime, but also maximize your recovery during the day because you're being more active during the day. Okay, so portion control. How to measure how much you should be eating. And that's the tricky part, okay? Most people don't understand portion. They don't have a scale at home. They might never done nutrition planning before. So the most common question is, how much should I eat? So I'm gonna put on the next slide because it's much easier for you guys to see it. It's a slide that shows how much you should be consuming in a day. Okay, or for activity. For example, protein should be the palm of your hand. And each one of you guys have different size of hands, and that's fine because that's what's supposed to be anyway, okay? It's almost like the palm of your hand is what you should be eating for your body type. So for protein is the size of your palm. For carbohydrate is like a cup, like a cup. And then if you're a female, 1 cup of carbohydrate is enough. If you're a male, 2 of those, okay? For vegetables, 2 handfuls, okay? So it could be literally a handful of salad, and that could be a vegetables. I prefer, based on the season. So if it's winter, normally most people don't eat salad, so go for cooked vegetables. If it's summer, go for salad, doesn't matter. You can always have both, but if it is a season that it requires a lot of fresh foods like summer, go for fresh. And then fats, what you can do is always measure by a thumb or a tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon of fats is enough. 1 thumb size of, like, for example, if it is a butter, okay, it's just a knob of butter. Or if it is, for example, like walnuts, you're gonna have probably 1 or 2 walnuts. I know it's not a lot. I know it's hard for you guys to probably visualize, oh, this is not much fat. But remember, fat is the most caloric part of our diet. Therefore, I would not recommend have a lot of it, okay? So I'm just gonna put here in a different format for you guys. So just on the top there, cool. And then here is in how many grams you should be consuming. I know most of you guys probably don't want to live your life weighing food and having a scale and like, I'm gonna weigh 100 to 200 grams of vegetables every day. No, I don't want you to do that. I'd rather you guys follow that, what we call the palm of the hand method. Is a lot more successful in many ways, because everywhere you go, you could do a plate based on the palm of your hand, rather than if you go out, like you're going to ask for a restaurant to do a 200 grams, vegetable for you. Not many places do that unless you are, a meal prepper. But for home, if you want to experiment, if you want to do your lunchbox, then that's a good amount of, protein, legumes, grains I've selected for you. All these slides I'm going to share with you guys. Okay, so don't worry. I'm going to send to your email after we finish. I'm going to send those slides so you can catch up on it. You can read it again, but more importantly, you can go there and you can start applying those things. But for now, all I can say this is, for fruits, you only need twice a day. Vegetables, you need 2 to 3 times a day. So you could have breakfast, lunch, and dinner vegetables. I know you might be thinking, oh, I don't have vegetables for my breakfast. Well, you could have spinach, you could have avocado, you could have mushrooms, tomato, you can have a green smoothie, it doesn't matter. For lunch, it's important to have vegetables, and for dinner, it complements your plate. It adds a lot of volume. It gives you lots of nutrients. Fiber, vegetables are essential for health. Now, cooked protein, don't need to be protein, animal protein. It can be tofu, it can be, nowadays we have those vegetarian options at supermarket, like vegan sausages and stuff like that. Not a big fan of it, but I'm saying you don't need necessarily animal protein. And then legumes, you can have beans as an option, which is chickpeas, lentils, kidney beans. They are a fantastic source of protein, carbohydrates as well. Very low GI. And the cool thing about them is they sometimes come in tins, ready available. You just open one, rinse it, and utilize straight away. In terms of seeds and nuts, mind the portion. Be careful with them. They are the easiest to overeat, okay? And they are very delicious. So like I would never recommend to my clients to have cashews, because they are the trickiest one. You don't stop once you start it. Pistachios, and I would suggest something that is a bit more boring, like almonds. Almonds are boring in a way, like especially if you buy the natural one. Don't buy salty nuts. They are designed to overeat, and that's why salty nuts is the hardest when you're trying to lose weight, because once you open that bag, you're gonna always go for it, because it's almost like a very satisfying thing. So I would say try to moderate your amount of seeds and nuts. I would say a tablespoon of pepitas or sunflower seeds or chia seeds or linseed, it's fine, because then you can add that to your smoothie. You can complement your meal with it, but you're not snacking on them. Okay, got it? And then dairy. Okay, so dairy is one of those things. You don't need it. It's not necessary. It's not a necessity, unless you are a growing child or a teenager, maybe. But for an adult, dairy is not important. I think if you have the habit, maybe start to rethinking of your dairy intake. It's one of those things we know is inflammatory. It can impact on your digestive system. It can give you lots of, indigestion. So if you like your milk, maybe moderate your portion. If you like your cheese, make sure that you don't overdo, because cheese is very high in calorie. So I would say keep it on the milk side of things, but avoid as much cheese as possible if you're trying to lose body fat, because just remember that. Okay, I'll show you this. It's a 500 grams of fat. And if you buy cheese, okay, every time you buy cheese, just think for a second that cheese is almost like this type of fat. It's saturated very easily. You can eat like a whole block of cheese, and that's the type of fat that we accumulate very rapidly. So saturated fat is dangerous for that, because they are the yellow fat, what we call. That's the type of fat we don't want in excess in our diet. So if you like your cheese, moderate, maybe 1 slice, maybe 2 slices a day, very thin, but don't buy a block of cheese, and don't cut it and help yourself if you feel hungry, because that's the worst type of snack you could have. And bread, I would say, bread is safe as long as you moderate your quantity. Good bread, of course, like hearty, wholemeal, rye bread, sourdough, but it is one of the most delicious things. For most people, it is hard to control the portion. So I would suggest if you can cut down bread for the first few weeks of your weight loss and fat loss, that's ideal, because that's the type of food you're going to make you indulge. It's going to make you eat extra. And the more bread you eat, the harder it is to control. Sorry, I got sensor bites. Okay, so moderate your portion of bread. It's imperative. 1 slice a day after exercise is all good. 2 for a meal, that's fine. After exercise, if you're not exercising, cut the bread, leave for the weekend. On a weekend is fine, but during the week, Monday to Friday, try to cut it, and you'll see that you lose weight more rapidly, and it's actually quite easy if you do that. How about water, guys? So water is this. You can't go any further in your health without water, quality water. Your body is basically water. I'll show you here. Okay, 83% of your brain, 95% of your eyes, your heart, 75% water, your muscle, your lungs, your kidney, it's between 75 to 80% or plus water. Your blood is 94% water. So you can't go any further without drinking water. If you don't drink adequate amount of water, what's going to happen is you're going to feel hungrier more often, because your body is trying to catch water from vegetables, from fruit. But if you're not eating fruits and vegetables, if you're not drinking enough water, guess what's going to happen? Your body is going to go for food, okay, any food as a resource. So you might find yourself hungry all the time because you're not drinking adequate amount of water. So I would suggest this. If you're not really concerned how much water you drink, buy one of those, okay? At Kmart they sell. It's about 1.5 liters. Maybe count how many of those you drink in a day. I normally drink 1.5 to 2 of those just in the morning. And then I drink another one of those in the afternoon. I find that's much easier to control my portions because I know that I have to, to finish that by a certain time. Where if you drink water by the cup, sometimes you lose count how many glasses you drink. So whatever works for you, all I'm saying is don't start your nutrition plan without calculating how much water you're going to drink. So that's a really simple calculation. Just on the bottom there, 60 kilos, for example, person should be consuming about 2.4 liters of water. So for every kilo of body weight, you have to count time 40 mils of water. So if you're at 70, it should be 2.8. If you're at 80, it should be 3.2, and so on. So that's very important. Okay, water is life. Water is fundamental for nutrition. Without water, you go no further. So that's why I'm saying it's better you start calculating how much water you drink, and it's gonna help you in many ways. And so let's start with the hacks. Okay, so that's the part of the session that I love. I created for you for speeding up your results. And I do believe this is a very good little tips that are not necessarily in nutrition books. So fasting is quite a trend at the moment. So many people talking about fasting, that there's this new advertised on TV, the 800 fast, which is a book. The guy encouraged people to fast and then eat 800 calories. I'm not an advocate of that. I don't actually believe it's healthy. Even though there's research behind it, I don't think it's healthy to break a fast and have only 800 calories. It's not sustainable. It's not easy. It's not good for a lot of people in many ways. So I think if you want to fast, start with 12 to 14 hours. If you can do more, then okay. But don't put yourself at risk. Don't put yourself in trouble to do a long fast if you can't do it. Some people can't fast. They feel dizzy. They feel, foggy minded. I actually perform when I'm fasting, and I actually feel that my mind works practically the same or even better. So if you want to start doing fasting, start with 12, build to 14. From 14, you do 16 hours. And 16 is a quite safe area, what we call intermittent fasting. Then you break the fast and then count 8 hours after that. And at the end of the 8 hours, stop eating and start the fasting again. If you do that, it's super easy. You lose weight, you feel great. You can maximize many many sides of your health, like reduce inflammation, reduce inflammatory markers. You feel that actually your body recover, and you feel that it's actually quite awesome, the feeling of being light for 16 hours. You can drink coffee, you can drink tea, that is with no sugar, just black coffee and tea. And you can have as much water as you like. So if you feel a bit hungry, just stuff yourself with water. That's what I do. Now, long fast is 18 to 21 hours. I'm not a big fan. I tried. I think I've done 21 hours every now and then. I find that it's actually challenging mentally, and I feel that at the end of 21, I'm a bit shaky. So if that is something that you want to try, just be safe. Start with the 14, 16, and then gradually increase to 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. But I would say it's not necessarily the best way. It's not the best format, I find. The 16-8 is good. Okay, let's talk about exercise, because exercise is one of those things most people they not necessarily understand, and I think you girls that are online, you understand the benefits of it, because you are my clients, and you know that I came from a background of sports, and I'm a personal trainer as well. So exercise is important. Keep exercising. I think the more exercise you do along the way with your nutrition plan, the healthier and the better. But there is a hack that we know, okay? That is interval training. So if you're not into gyms, if you're not into any sort of indoor activity, you can still do interval training. All you have to do is make sure that you exercise for a period of time, let's say 30 seconds to a minute, and then followed by reduction on that intensity. So let's say you run for a minute, and then you walk for a minute. Then you run for a minute, you walk for a minute. Try to do that X amount of time, 10 times, 20 times. I find that's one of the easiest way to lose weight. It's proven to speed up fat loss, but also it's very easy if you're not used to run a lot. Let's say you're not a type of person that you can run, but you could do little bursts of 30 seconds. You can do, for example, on a spin bike, you can do very fast for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then slow down. I find that when you do that, you have actually more fun, okay, because you're challenging yourself. You're doing bursts of energy, and that's actually quite easily to do. And I find also that the results are better than doing long runs and long rides. I find that actually you burn more fat more efficiently in less amount of time. That is smart, because you're maximizing your time, you're maximizing your result. If you like body weight exercise, I just gave a little tip there. You could do, for example, 10 squats. You can do 10 push-ups. If you don't want to do push-ups on your toes, you can do on your knee. Excuse me. And then you can do 30 seconds prone holds and hold that for 30 seconds and repeat that. Those type of circuits, they work a treat. Sorry, my time at the office is terrible. You can do that 2 times a week, the body weight circuit. You can do 2 times a week your cardio. So if you do 2 cardio and 2 body weights, you have 4 times a week exercise. And the other 2, you can do fun activities. You can do anything you like. But I would say 4 times a week is what we recommend for any person to lose weight healthily, okay? If you want to do a daily thing, that's up to you. But always remember, you have to have rest as well. If you want to do active rest, you can do maybe a yoga. You can do maybe a bit of swimming. You can just do a hike. Those activities are what we call, they are green activities. They're very good for your endocrine system, for your nervous system. It's excellent for you. Green tea. Okay. I think green tea is the easiest way to speed up your fat loss. It's proven. Speed up fat loss. It helps your body to detox. It's anti-inflammatory, anti-aging. It's one of the easiest ways for you to curb your appetite in between meals. That's why a lot of Japanese people do green tea in between meals or with their meal. It is the best tea for weight loss. It's proven to, be wonderful for reducing water retention, fluid. It helps you detox, but also push excess fluid away. So definitely recommend 2 to 4 cups of green tea every single day. If you don't like hot, brew the tea, put in the fridge, and you can drink cold. Or you can put some ice and drink cold, and that's great as well. But definitely recommend green tea, especially in substitution of coffee, okay? So for example, you drink 1 coffee, which is your treat. And then after that, I would say do 2 to 3 cups of tea to compensate that coffee, because most people have the coffee for the energy. So if you substitute for green tea, you're still going to get the energy. It's just a different level of energy, which is better for you. It doesn't push your adrenal system. It is much milder and is much better for you. Okay. Eat your cruciferous vegetables. So what are the cruciferous vegetables? They are the broccoli, the cauliflower, the cabbage, the bok choy, the radish, mustard greens or mustard leaf. They are choysum in Australia. They have also kale. So if you want to maximize your fat loss, I would say eat your cruciferous vegetables. Very important, because they maximize your liver detoxification. They reduce fluid retention. They've proven to be one of the best foods to combat cancer, to prevent cancer. And not only that, they help with fat loss because also they reduce your estrogen levels. They block excess estrogen, which is one of the biggest thing when it comes to weight gain. Some people have too much estrogen circulating on the system. So that's also the endocrine side of things. So I would suggest, to be honest, 1 handful of cruciferous vegetables every single day. Sometimes I even do 2 a day, like broccoli. If this in season is delicious, go for it. You can have broccoli for lunch, broccoli for dinner. You can have cabbage in your salad. You can have bok choy in your stir fry. You can have kale for your green smoothie, but do it because it makes a huge difference, guarantee, okay? Sweet potato. Okay, so most people don't think this is a fat loss food. It is. There is a book about it. It's called the sweet potato diet. It's crazy. The guy researched and they found that by eating sweet potato, you can lose body fat. You can just preventing my light to stop. You can reduce inflammation. You can actually slow down weight gain, and more importantly, you are satisfied when you eat sweet potato for longer than any other carbohydrate. So it curbs your appetite, regulates your blood pressure and your blood sugar. So in my opinion, I would say do it every single day, at least once a day, maybe for lunch or perhaps a little portion for dinner. But I find that when you integrate sweet potato with your meals, you feel satisfied, you have heaps of energy, and you do have a higher success rate in your weight loss, okay? That's why most bodybuilders, they do it when they are trying to lose weight for a competition, because they know it works. It's a safe carbohydrate to have. So why not? Foods that increase your dopamine serotonin pathway, which is your happy hormones. So this is very important because in a time that we have now, especially with mental health and depression and people working isolated, I think it's very important to have foods that increase your serotonin levels. because we're not having that social interaction anymore. So make sure that you have at least like spirulina or greens every single day. I'm a big fan of greens first thing in the morning. That's very, very good thing for you. Maybe have some eggs as well in the morning or for lunch. Have some dairy, like maybe yogurt. If you feel a bit depressed, yogurt has been proven to be good for the brain. Have some, beef, grass-fed, or chicken. Have a bit of salmon every now and then. You can eat oats, which is great for your brain, like especially if you have any sort of depression. It's proven. Sweet potato again, bananas, and beans. Like, why not? Beans are cheap. Beans are a fantastic source of protein. So I would say maybe have sweet potato for lunch, maybe have some beans for dinner, or beans in your salad, have some eggs for a snack, or you can have a boiled egg for lunch in your salad, and then have some greens in the morning, just with a glass of water, or you can put in your smoothie. That's simple. Now, magnesium. I know it sounds silly, like, I don't think magnesium is good for fat loss. It is. It's very important for weight loss, very good for fat loss, because magnesium-rich foods are important for your brain. Your brain loves magnesium. Your muscles require magnesium for relaxation. If you are lacking magnesium, you overeat sugar. And if you eat too much sugar, your magnesium is low. So it's almost like that kind of cycle that if you eat too much sugar, your magnesium is low, and then your magnesium low will make you eat more sugar. It's crazy, right? So the tricky thing is not much people know what is magnesium-rich foods. I'll show you here. Magnesium-rich foods are actually sweet potato. Look again, eggs, pumpkin seeds, almonds. One of the richest sources of magnesium is avocado, Brazil nuts, sunflower seeds, spinach, broccoli. So I would suggest eat some broccoli, sweet potato, have some eggs, have a bit of avocado, perhaps on toast with eggs in the morning, have some cocoa powder, which is cacao powder, in your smoothie. Have 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day, which is good fats. Like the thumb size, have 2 Brazil nuts. That's great. Brazil nuts great for your thyroid function and fat loss. And have a bit of chia seeds in your smoothie. So if you do that, I'm going to send the slides to you. You can maybe do your own little list of magnesium-rich foods and go for it. And then here's zinc. Look, zinc is another one. You can't go anywhere without zinc. Zinc is part of your hair, skin, nails, reproductive system depends on zinc, digestive system. Zinc is so important. It's like the master of all nutrients. It's so important for the immune system, for healing, for cicatrization of your skin. If you have a wound, you're gonna need zinc. If you have a pimple, you're gonna need zinc. If you have, any sort of immune compromisation, like say you got a cold, a flu, if you have an infection, zinc is gonna be the main mineral utilized. So zinc-rich foods are actually very easy to find. So chicken is one of them. You got yogurt, pumpkin seeds. So pumpkin seeds is one of those that's in magnesium-rich, but zinc-rich. You got lentils. You have cocoa powder, again, magnesium-rich and zinc-rich. So cocoa powder could be on your smoothies. Grass-fed beef or beef, it's great because it increases your serotonin levels, but also have zinc. And milk, instead of milk, you can have yogurt. I think is better for you. So oysters is one of those things. It's not for everyone. I'm a big fan, but I think it's not everyone that likes it. You could have oysters every now and then. It's not something you're going to have every single day, but maybe once a week or once a month. But try to have your zinc. If you're not, try to supplement. Okay, I'll show you here. If you're not eating your zinc-rich foods, take 1 zinc capsule. You go to the chemist and buy a zinc supplement and take every single night with your dinner, and it's going to be one of the healthiest things you can do, because low zinc impacts on many functions in your body. So to guarantee you having your zinc, supplement it, okay? And then here is your omega-3s, okay? So your omega-3 is this. This is the healthiest fat you can have. That's brain fuel. That is important for your, not only your brain, but your fat mobilization. So if you're not having omega-3, you're not mobilizing fat efficiently. You're not maximizing your fat loss. You're not thinking properly, or your brain's not working optimally. So omega-3 is essential. And you can find omega-3 in olive oil, you can find omega-3 in walnuts, in fatty fish, in seeds, nuts. And if you don't have enough omega-3 in the diet, also supplement. And I would say 1 to 2 capsules, okay, every single day, and have that as a 3 months, 6 months, or even a year, okay, because it does help your overall health. It will help you reduce your waistline, because omega-3 is very important to help mobilize body fat around the waist, and is also very important to regulate your hunger. So omega-3 has proven to be one of those fats that can increase your fat burning. That's why I put on hacks, because if you do have omega-3 capsules, 1 to 3 a day, I guarantee you're going to burn more fat efficiently, okay? So this is probably one of those seminars that we can go for hours and hours. This is the first one for the series, Fat Loss. I think we're gonna be having a lot more topics, like I said, this year, and I do want to share with you guys more of the, the things that I know about nutrition. I think for now we have enough content to get started. I think I want you guys to go and do a bit of homework, start to apply those things, start to change your nutrition. And maybe we can maybe catch up in a week or two, maybe send me a message, see how you guys going. I would love to hear your feedback. After the recording, I'm gonna send this video to you all. I want you guys to rewatch. Hang on a sec, sorry, again. I want you to rewatch. I want you perhaps to make some more notes and try to apply those things immediately. The content that I create here is something that is basic, but is very fundamental. It's something that you can carry for the rest of your life. And if you apply that, you're going to be healthy. You're going to pretty much maintain your weight, but more importantly, it's things that your body needs. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap up this, but I'm not stopping the video. I'm just going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to continue with you all on the chat. Hang on a sec. I'm just going to pause, stop recording.